So my role with Reliance Ranches is I wear a lot of different hats, but you know, as far as the horse training aspect of it goes, it's really exciting. We started with just taking basically second career horses from the Reliance Ranches race program. So they have quarter horse race horses, and the idea was, could you take a horse that was in the race program and make him a head horse? And we were successful in doing that. Those horses, some of them go on and make great head horses, and we've had some examples of that, and some of them, you know, are a little more of a challenge. And so we've learned since then that if you can combine a little bit of the performance horse breeding with the race horse breeding, that you even have a higher, you know, percentage of success for rope horses or barrel horses. And so we've been experimenting with that some, and so we've got a bunch of fillies now that are performance bred and blending that with the race breeding. And so that's kind of my latest project. While I still have some straight race horses that we're having success with, we're also starting to introduce the performance horse breeding. And so on a daily basis, you know, whether it's the 2-year-olds that have some have quite a bit of riding on them, or mostly the 3- and 4-year-olds, we start on the Smarty. So the first thing is we just go around in a circle and get them where they want to track it and get them where they'll rate it. And so when the Smarty slows down, I want them to read it. And so that's valuable whether it's for a head horse, a heel horse, a breakaway horse, or a barrel horse. They have to know how to rate an object and how to stay with it. And so it's really valuable for that. And then as we get into the horses that we're going to start to campaign and take to the rope horse fraternities, which is really the latest and most exciting part about what I do, is well, same thing. We work on the basic fundamentals on the Smarty and make sure that they've got a good understanding there, so we're not wasting runs chasing steers. It's a little bit like learning a language. And so if you don't have that kind of refresher course on the new languages you're trying to learn, you could go on and have half a conversation with somebody and they don't know what you're talking about. And so I relate that same scenario to the horses. You know, as we're teaching them things, you can reinstill those basic fundamentals with the Smarty. Is a great tool.
Cool. What's one of your favorite bloodlines that Reliance Ranches has, or stallions, you know, that they stand, that you see the most success with, or is it a plethora of all of them?
So Reliance Ranches is fortunate to stand quite a few great stallions, both in the race and the performance bloodline. Let me start over. So Reliance Ranches has been fortunate enough to have and own, you know, a number of great both performance and race bred stallions. Some of my favorite that I'm riding most recently are the Bucks Hancock Dudes. All of the ones that I'm riding are bred to running bred mares, and so I think they have the right amount of cow and durability along with the run and that intensity that comes from the racehorse side. And so I'm really excited about those. We have some 3-year-olds that are coming along really well, both in the roping and the barrels, and we've got some great up-and-coming 2-year-olds from those.
That's awesome. Okay, tell us about the fraternities and like how you've seen some horsemen, you know, from a breeder's perspective, from a young horse perspective. Talk about the progress that the fraternities have brought to that.
The rope horse fraternities have opened up all kinds of new doors of opportunity for the performance horse world and for rope horses. I'm a fan of the horsemanship that goes into making a horse be able to do the things that we're asking them to do, and especially at this level. And I think that the rope horse fraternities helps to protect the integrity of that a little bit, because you can't push the horse further than or faster than the horse wants to be pushed. And so I really like the 4-year-old fraternity classes, because it doesn't matter if it's Trevor Brazile or Ren Richard or me, we're all starting with the same aged horse. And so the result is a horse that we all started at the same place, and you get to see who's done the right amount of work and preparation up to that point. And so it's a lot of fun. I feel like it gives us a benchmark or a target to work towards when we start training these horses, and so I really enjoy it, and I look for it to just explode. It's done a lot for the rope horse industry, for the horse breeding industry, and raised a lot of awareness on the horsemanship side of things. Yeah, the speed trainer is an excellent tool because I myself, as well as pretty much everybody else who's roped a head and dummy, have made probably countless reps of wrong technique. Because you walk at it at an angle, you turn your shoulders, you do things with your left hand when you get your slack, and there's no accountability. And so the nice thing about the speed trainer is there is accountability. You're sitting on a horse with the head in the way just like you would when you're on an actual rope horse, and so you have to adjust to where your target is based on where your horse is. It has indicators that tell you what you are or aren't doing with your left hand in the way of lights and alarms. And so if you're, for instance, if I'm pulling my slack and I'm doing this with my left hand, there's an alarm that will go off. Well, our horses they're the same way. And so if we're pulling on our horse when we're getting our slack, we're going to either, one of two things is going to happen. Either our horse is going to react and move to the left or stop when we're trying to get our slack and dally, or he's going to get numb to it because it's like this dummy keeps pulling on me every time he ropes the horns, neither of which are good. And so when I talk about accountability, that accountability will help me to ride better and handle my rope and my left hand better while I'm roping. And so I feel like the speed trainer is an excellent tool, very well thought out. And if the key is to use it right. You have to treat it exactly like you would when you're roping. And so like on a day like today when it's raining, I can go in the barn, I can get on my speed trainer and I can work on certain things. I can hold my horse in the box like I'm going to score, put my left hand forward when I go, use my feet and kick, hustle my swing. I can position the horns anywhere I want. If I'm struggling when the horns are close, or if I'm struggling when they're a ways out there, I can move the horns and I can rope, get my slack, dally, engage the bridle reins and all that, and then build repetition. And so if I'm going to do 100 reps, I would rather do 100 reps on the speed trainer rather than I would just on the ground roping the horns by myself.